I am Linda Gordon. I am the president of the Human Rights Watch Student Task Force here at Samohi.
So I'm Matthew Ware. I've been working with the Human Rights Watch Student Task Force over the past 4 years in our Right to Education campaign and in other campaigns.
California ranks 46th in per pupil spending, which is $3,000 below the national budget. So that shows how drastic the difference between the California education system is and the rest of the country.
So with the Right to Education campaign, we've been informing people about the ballot initiatives that connect education, Proposition 30 and 38. We held a forum with two candidates for assembly in this district, Betsy Butler and Richard Bloom, and they discussed their positions. We had students from the task force ask them their positions on the ballot initiatives and on education in general.
Nearly every year, our local district, even the Santa Monica Malibu Unified School District, was affected by economic swings due to unfunded mandates and reductions in funding from Sacramento and Washington, D.C.
I can tell you as a legislator and as a Democratic legislator, education is the priority of the state of California. It definitively is. It probably always will be.
I used to teach high school students, and it was actually from my experience teaching high school students that I really recognized that high school students had the capabilities to have a tremendous impact on issues that they cared about. And I felt that they didn't know that, they didn't understand that, at least most of them didn't.
A lot of students, especially here at Santa Monica High School even, they don't really realize the impact that their voice can have.
I mean, school is a place of learning by nature, and it just makes sense that it should be a place for learning about human rights. We're here with 3,000 students who come here every day to learn about a whole bunch of topics and a whole bunch of subjects, and there's no reason human rights shouldn't be one of those subjects.
We all recognize that as youth and as students, we have a unique perspective and that we haven't really formulated our ideas and our opinions yet completely. And so every time we learn, we're learning new things constantly.
For me, to work with high school students is just a real pleasure, because I believe that high school students, once they get armed with the information, they have a very optimistic, open approach to trying to achieve their goals.
And you don't have that in a work environment. You don't have that necessarily with adults. So the atmosphere of the school contributes a lot to it, I think.
It's sort of cliche to say we are the future, but it's true. We really are the future, and so whatever we're doing now is sort of a preview to what can happen in the future.
I think it's absolutely critical that students make their voices heard, and that means you have to learn, right? You have to do your research.
Yeah. Being informed about your world is going to become more and more important in a society with more and more challenges.
If you don't know what your rights are, and if you don't have an education to be able to understand what your rights are and where you are in the world, then probably you won't be able to exercise those rights. So it's basic and fundamental.
And especially with social media, I think that our generation has sort of discovered that we can use social media as a tool to send a message. As our generation rises, social media will become an even larger tool as activism and as raising your voice.
But I think it starts with having a fundamental sense in your gut of what's right and wrong. And where you see there might be a problem, try to learn more about it, speak up, organize, speak to other students, speak to members of the community, and figure out how you can find your voice.
And a conversation seems like a small thing, but with a lot of conversations, you can convince lots of people that what you're doing is right. You can convince lots of people that what you care about is important.